And I love Ride.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and you need Philo, let me tell you. And I like Ride.
I'm Dan, and sand is just moving through the hourglass, and this is the
Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Hey, everybody.
We literally held hands earlier. You're not just gonna drink from the water.
I don't know. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Deck the Hallmark Wednesday edition Ride. I am in my horse hats as I promised.
It was close. It was a close call.
It was a close call this week.
That's a buzzer.
Not gonna lie. Ryan, it's great to see you, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. You look great. And ready for Ride. I had a nice weekend. Me and the girlfriend saw Harry Potter with a live orchestra, Harry Potter number 5. I recommend that any movie, Hallmark, if you're listening, if you have even a halfway decent score, do this. It's great. It was a good time.
I've always wanted to go to the Hollywood Bowl and see one of them where they had the live orchestra played. I mean, it's such a great idea. And you went with Order of the Phoenix is what
so I'm new to these Harry Potter flicks. I had never seen any of them. So this is my first time seeing Order of the Phoenix. And I don't think I'll ever watch it again because I don't think I will top said experience. It was awesome.
Couldn't.
Yeah, that's a tough way to watch something for the first time. It's like anytime you watch it otherwise, you're like, oh, okay, well, it's not that. It's not that. We're talking about Ride. We are 6 episodes in now, everybody. We're
halfway
over the halfway mark. And then what are we gonna do, Ryan? Are you just gonna disappear? We're never gonna see you again?
I hope not.
Well, I it's the first time we're talking about this. I hope not. If we can figure something else out, right? I'm sure, I guess. I guess.
Don't sound so desperate, Ryan.
We'll take that from a guy with a horse hat on. Don't do it.
I'm going to just hold all commentary. I'll see you in July.
Maybe we can do a wrestling show.
Yeah, well, we had that segment. Wrestle. What was it called? Wrestle to the ground.
Wrestle to the ground.
Wrestle to the ground.
Yeah. So maybe we just expand on that.
Yeah, I like that.
I think it was maybe one of our worst segments ever, and it's not because
I don't disagree, Dan.
I was about to say you hear what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with you.
Well,
we'll talk offline.
The guy in the horse head over there. That's what it has to do with.
It was awesome. Let's talk about this Ride, season 1, episode 6. It's entitled
Dear Gene.
Dear Gene.
Hit me, baby. Oops, I did it.
Oh, no, it's You're Cheating Hard. You're Cheating Hard, originally aired on April 30th, 2023. And it went a little something like this. Missy wakes up the next day after yelling at a bull. And Isabel tells her that she saw her yelling at a bull. And Missy says, don't worry about it. We all have bad days. She goes to train Cash, and Cash is clearly having a tough time because of the big bruise on his hand from fighting Gus. But he doesn't want to tell Missy about the fight. So he's just like, yeah, it's tough out here today, huh? Missy then decides that she is going to contact Polly. Remember Polly, because she can't handle the unknown of whether or not Austin and Polly were having an affair. So she's like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Isabel and the mayor are working on their pitch for Gus's dad, and Gus is helping them because he loves rodeo. Gus tells Missy about the fight, so she lays into Cash and is like, I can't believe you got in a fight with Gus. I can't believe you didn't tell me. And he's like, it's no big deal. I'm all good. V then kind of tells Cash that she's into him, kind of, but it's hard when he's punching dudes' faces for liking Missy. Makes it tough to, really do much with that. Tough misses Julian, so he makes a mistake sandwich. They decide to put on a rodeo for Gus's dad.
We should put on a show.
They are going to put on a show. And Gus's dad does not seem impressed by this. But then when he sees how scared Isabel is of watching Cash on a bull, he's like, okay, all right, I see. I like fear. I like it when people are scared. Let's talk about the money. But then when everyone finds out that Cash rode a bull with a bruised hand, they all take turns individually yelling at him. Missy asks V if she'll move in with her and be her roommate because she's lonely. V is very happy about this. Polly then shows up and tells her the truth. Here's the thing that he says. Polly says that Austin did not cheat on her. He says that they met 10 years ago. It was before he and Missy were even together. And Polly says that Austin came up to her and asked her to rig the drawing of the bulls.
Hello?
What?
Rig? You said rig? I'm here.
No.
Did you said
rigging as
you
in
put on the horse head and you came over and you said rig.
No,
Those two things happened.
I said rigging.
Stop acting like they didn't happen.
Not your name.
Rig, do you like this show?
What show is this?
Right.
I've never heard of this show.
Okay. Then why are you here?
Well, I live here.
Right. So Polly says
When's Wrestle Into the Ground coming back?
that's actually not this one. That's not this
That's
one.
my favorite program.
I know.
That's good stuff.
Program.
There's theme songs, and I believe Hacksaw Jim Duggan is around.
Yes, he is.
Ayo.
Ayo. Polly says that Austin wanted
Does Polly want a cracker?
Rick, I need you to go away. I was making.
Does Polly want a cracker?
Yes, Polly wants a
Okay,
cracker.
good.
Polly says that Austin wanted to ride the most dangerous bull possible. So, because the more dangerous the
higher
bull,
the points,
the more points you get.
It's like that old expression. Yeah.
It's that old expression. So let me ask you this: is 6 seconds on a dangerous horse more impressive than 8 seconds on a little baby?
It depends on your hand and where it is.
And which bull riding commission you're talking to.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And so Missy's like, wait a second. Why would Austin want to ride the most dangerous? But why is he trying to cheat? And Paul,
the very high waist up here. You do the chicken dance.
Why did Austin cheat?
If you're watching on Philo, you would think that Bran has been up for 48 straight hours.
And Polly is like, it's all my fault. And Missy's like, yeah. And then my friend was
right. Season 1, episode 6.
Cheatin' hard.
Carrie Underwood song.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back. And we're going to break this movie down episode on Deck the Hallmark.
Deck the Hallmark. You just said we're going to come back. We're going to break this movie down episode.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
The whole bride episode. This should just be called "Can we get one more?"
Let's talk about this. Let's do the wait. What? I mean, let's do the.
God, stop it! Stop it! What is wrong with you?
Let's do the hot take, where we share.
We break this down episode
and share how we felt about this movie. I'm going to start with Ryan. Ryan, what did you think about Ride Season 1, Episode 6?
This short novella was great. No, I good on the show right off rip for showing us Cash's hand and making it very clear that Gus beat the tar out of him the week before. And so it was a hot. My hot take is that it was a hot start for me. And then the episode happened. The rest of the thing happened. This is not even a bad. The show is boring. The show isn't even necessarily bad. The show is boring, and which is interesting because I think that the only things that really grab me as a viewer, we have fun with the Gus and Missy thing. Gus is my favorite character, and I do like that dynamic. But typically, I think it's a bad sign for a show when the relationships are all you care about. It's really just kind of used as a crutch, and it means that the rest of the show isn't particularly interesting. And I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad sign in this case, but that's the fact. Nothing else in the show grabs me. And anything they do is generally uninteresting for me, except for those few flickering moments where those dynamics are in play between potential couples. Dylan Neal came in, and I know he's a talented guy and he's a popular guy in the fandom, but they wrote him so poorly, and it was just not interesting. And which I thought was odd because there's that Janine character who I think is written very generically, but she's so over the top that it's good.
Dan and I knew
who Janine
we knew
is.
that she had been in this show before.
Yeah, we know her. for sure. We didn't think it was her first episode.
Dana weren't surprised by her.
Not on our watch.
You remember?
Not today. And then, but so that was a bit of a bummer. And then ultimately, the rodeo scenes were dynamic and interesting, which makes me think, why doesn't this rodeo show do more rodeo scenes? Because those at least got my attention. I thought the end of the episode we'd get a Gussie kiss. We didn't. That really let me down. It was a boring episode of TV. Maybe there were a few bright spots. And Janine, everyone knows she was in the show, so there's that.
Yes,
everyone did know that.
This episode was, in my estimation, less boring than last week.
Yes, sure. It wasn't a hay plot in this.
We do get introduced to Jeanine, who is awesome, and we love her.
This was her fourth episode, and we all knew that,
and we know that. To Ryan's point, the rodeo was awesome. I applauded multiple times. I loved the rodeo. So yeah, overall, probably one of the best weeks we've had so far. And that makes me sad overall sad. But yes, this episode did do things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
First of all, we did know who Janine was.
We love Janine.
We love Janine.
MVP
all
of the
4
show.
episodes she's been in, we've loved her.
Scene stealer.
This is the best episode of the series so far, and I say that to tell you that it is awful. The episode consists of 3 parts. Part one, tell everyone what's happened over the previous 5 episodes through people giving long monologues of plot we already know. Part 2, let's plan a party. And part 3, the rodeo. Dylan Neal is an absolute pro, and he's wasted here completely.
Good to see him though.
You question
and Janine.
Here's the thing: is not only do you have issue 1, which is why are they doing this, which we'll get to in the wait what, I'm sure, but the bigger one is how nobody in here is telling anyone anything of importance or going about their character in the way that would make any sense at all. Like no one, if she wanted to save the ranch, she would not be like not wanting her son to be in the rodeo. If he was hurt, he would like it. No character has any integrity. I said this to Brain while we were watching the show, and I stand by this, and I can't believe I'm saying it out loud. But through 6 episodes, I cared more about the characters on Wind Calls the Hearts than I do on Ride.
Wow.
True story. Jack and Elizabeth on Wind Calls the Hearts mattered more, and I cared more about them than I do anyone on Ride. And Gowan, and if he burned down the church and that whole thing early on. Now, there's some seasons later on in Wind Calls the Heart that are definitely worse than Ride. Definitely way worse than Ride. 2 and 7 stick out at the moment. Way worse than Ride. But through 6 episodes, this is tough. This is tough sledding because this is as good as the show has been, and it's bad. At every turn where there could be intrigue, they give you something else instead. It is always the most boring possible answer to any question that they have. So I hate it. Sorry.
Let's get to all the feels where we talk about those feels that we had, all of them. Ryan.
So Missy's sleeping on the couch at the start of the episode, and I'm not exactly sure why. I do sometimes just sleep on the couch, change the scenery. It's good for your back. So there's that.
I don't think that's true.
That can't be true.
No, look it up. It's a thing. Maybe I don't know. But we'll talk about it and wrestle him to the ground. But so that was interesting. But then there actually is a morsel of a really nice scene developing between Missy and Nancy Travis, because I like that the show was like, we ended with this really emotionally charged, peculiar scene last week between Missy and a bull. But they address it head on. And I thought Nancy Travis's performance was very nice for about 4 bars of a 16-bar song, if you will. And then they were just like, you know what, let's go to a different scene. And I was just like, why did they do that? Like it was actually a nice character develop moment with a nice little performance. And then they said, nope, let's just do anything else. And so I felt something for a moment, and then I was bummed out again. And the show just can't get out of its own way sometimes. That's it.
Yeah, I really like rodeos. Whenever I get to see them. Missy's character doing the tricks, really like that. I think I like the tricks more than the bull. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I found the tricks to be.
I mean, it's a hot take if you're like 6.
Well, I don't. For me personally, I don't really care about the bull throwing someone off or not for 8 seconds. Like, I'm more excited when someone like hops off a horse and skips with their feet and then hops back on. Like, that's fun. I like that. So shout out to the stunt person that did that work. Dan?
Yeah. So there's a scene at the end where they roll the credits and it is phenomenal. I mean, God, when the screen goes black and you know that it's done, like it's done. You look at your clock, you're like, they can't be anymore.
All right, we're gonna take a break.
42 minutes. They gotta roll the credits or something they can do.
Welcome back to Deck the Hallmark.
And you know that the screen has to go. There's no way there's more because this show's only 42 minutes. They can't change the properties of time. They've used their allotted minutes and it's over, and I feel elated. Thank you.
We're going to talk about the Wait What's, where we talk about what in this episode made us go, wait, what? Ryan.
I thought we did that earlier, the Wait What's.
We did, right after we did the Break This Down episode.
I'm sorry. Let's do the hot takes.
All right. This is a movie, right? So Cash wants, they're talking that Polly is all that stuff. Polly is the we think that she cheated on with Austin, blah, blah, blah. And she apparently works for, they'll make sure I have this right, the Pro Rodeo Riders Organization.
Yes.
Why didn't we just call the Bull Riding League that? Like, isn't that an infinitely better name?
Yes.
So that bothered me.
League.
In the I have a few more. In the last show we did, it was called The Way Home. There was that veterinarian, and we didn't know if he was a doctor or not, and that was a controversy. But Cash hurts his hand, and it might be broken for all we know. And he doesn't want to tell anybody, which is hilarious because he's literally icing it with a steak in front of everyone, and yet no one bothers to go.
That's what I had that down. Like, we have a whole scene where he has a steak on his hand.
What are we doing? And so that's a wait what in of itself. But then there's this one guy who's been in a couple episodes. He's like, I don't know what you would call it. He helps, and he goes to that guy. He's been in a few of it wasn't Janine. And he goes, hey, I can't tell anybody else this, but do you think there's something wrong with my hand? Now, is this guy a doctor or is he just a guy? Because he doesn't give any like
he's just a ranch hand.
He's just a ranch hand. He's like, let me give it a once over.
Why did he pick that guy?
Ibuprofen and Tylenol alternate every 4 to 6 hours. If you rest and elevate, you should be good to go.
And also the other thing is, if you really want no one to know, you know who'd be a more reliable person that would keep the secret? A doctor who doesn't work at the ranch.
Yeah, it's called the Hippocratic Oath.
So there's that. Nancy Travis, she's trying to impress the guy from Dawson's Creek, and she goes like, "We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that," and then she goes, they're gonna go, and he can get up close and personal with Bullet. And I'm really tired of this show acting like Bullet can talk.
Yes.
Like, it's just like, oh man, Dylan Neal is gonna have a chat up a storm with Bullet, and that would be a better show, by the way, if Bullet could talk
for sure. Or if they did a voice for Bullet.
Hello, it's me.
Hello. You want to invest in this rodeo? You should. It's a good time. I'm Bullet. I'm undefeated.
It bothered me. Two more. Nancy Travis lays out all the stuff for the McMurray Museum, and one, it couldn't look any less interesting, and two, it looks like it would maybe be enough stuff to fill up a trophy room in the hallways of Bayside High. Like, I like a museum is a museum.
Yeah,
A trophy case. It was maddening. And then lastly, world's biggest Gus fan here, as we all know. But he'd maybe want to take another crack at the sentence as Missy is about to go out and do her tricks. He goes, you're going to kill him out there. As her husband literally just died a few months ago while doing bull-related activity. Not the best stuff for my guy Gus. And thus concludes my portion of the hot take.
That's tough. This movie starts off with the scene that was Ryan's feels, which is a scene where she wakes up and she's on this couch, a wonderful couch. It looks like, by the way, good for the back. And Isabel comes in there, and next to her pillow is 2 phones, which she tucks under her pillow. It was weird. Was that a mistake? Why'd she tuck them under the pillow? Was this not supposed to make air? Did anyone else see this?
Guys, personal phone.
Take this to the tape. Take it to the tape. I am not good with money, but I cannot advise you more to not invest 8 figures into the rodeo.
8. That is tens of millions of dollars.
Don't do it. Don't invest 8 figures into the rodeo.
I'm just a guy in a horse hat,
just wearing a horse hat,
telling you not to invest 8 figures into the rodeo.
We bought this.
Could be a lot of VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Missy is having a tough day as she brings out all of her dead husband's goodies, lays them on a table. And who is it? Is it Tough? And does Tough come in there and say, "Hey, are you okay?" And she says, "I'm okay." Pauses for maybe a beat and goes, "That's a lie."
This charade's going on long enough.
This is doing too much. Good for her for sharing her feelings, but I don't know. Maybe wait 2 beats.
Yeah, maybe act like you.
I'm okay. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
I can't live with myself. I can't live with this. And are you going to talk about the order of the good-looking McMurray boys?
Sure.
Okay, good. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, so they decide that Tough is going to be the rodeo clown and the MC for the rodeo. Which is a move. Like let's make the gay cowboy the rodeo clown. That's a move that they made, and that's fine. And he then says, "I'd like to introduce you to the second best looking McMurray brother." That's tough because either you're saying that your deceased brother is the ugliest.
Or you're the ugliest.
Or you're the ugliest. Once you've claimed that Cash is second, you've put yourself into a bit of a tough spot. Either your deceased brother is the you're just saying, he's dead. He was ugly. He was an uggo. We all knew it. Or you're like, womp womp, I'm the ugliest brother. I don't really know which one.
Or he's just saying, guys, let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
He's a corpse now.
Yeah.
He's the ugliest. He used to be number 1.
But now,
number 3.
Yeah. That was something. Has this billionaire never seen a rodeo before? They are trying to squeeze this dude for $10+ million. And they're like, you know what'll do it? An empty set of stands that we cobbled together and a bad rodeo. Because there's no way he's ever seen one before, right? Like, why, of all the things to sell a rodeo, the worst idea would be put on a bad rodeo. The idea that you would go through the paces of a bad rodeo to a guy that wants to see the quality of the rodeo, it doesn't make any sense to me. It makes sense for the show because it gives us some exciting moments and lets the stunt people do their thing and gives the drama of Cash and the hurt hand. But it doesn't make sense for them the day of the pitch to go, you know what? I got it. What if we did like a dry run? What if we got my daughter-in-law and my 2 sons out here and they all run around and they do 2 horse events and there's no way this billionaire won't be blown away by that. There's no way he won't be like, oh my gosh, how much where's my checkbook?
Hey, Isabel, it looks like we just have a table of crap. And then some numbers. Should we spice it up a little bit? Looking at the museum, I think we might need something else.
Yeah, maybe.
Rodeo.
What if we put on a fake rodeo?
Put on a fake rodeo and act like the
like a
crowd's there.
two-person rodeo.
Two-person.
And then lastly, Dylan Neal starts off with this big speech about how my time's worth $750 an hour, and this whole thing is costing $135,000
a minute. $750 a minute.
$750 a minute. Yeah, that's right. $750 a minute. $135,000 is what this is costing me. $135,000 at $750 a minute. That's 3 hours. That guy got on a plane or a helicopter, flew out, then got in a car, was taken to the ranch, did the whole pitch, back in the car, back to the chopper, back to his house, all in 3 hours.
No,
he's a time.
No. He's saying he's already spent 3 hours.
Oh, I thought he was saying he said the whole thing's going to cost me 3 hours.
No, she says this whole thing so far has cost me 3 hours, and she says, well, then it's already been quite the investment.
Oh,
might as well make it more.
He's saying he's already spent.
He's already spent 3 hours.
Then scratch that one from the record.
That's how I heard it. Right?
I read it the same way. Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
right.
It's scratch.
Dylan
Neal, much like us, has wasted a lot of time with Ride. Yes.
Yeah, he has. I feel like I've wasted $135,000.
I'd rather. As somebody who's been scammed twice.
Yeah, on the internet. That's right.
Give me a third. Is that it?
That's it.
It's time for Ride or Die. You get it up. Ryan?
My ride is there's a scene early on where Gus is talking to Nancy Travis and the shady rodeo guy, and he's got this coffee cup, and I swear he never puts this thing down. He takes a sip and he's holding it, and he's like, I like rodeo, and my dad's a big jerk face, and he just holds the thing the whole time. It's the best coffee cup acting I've ever seen. And then at one point there's a take where a fly comes onto him, and clearly they didn't have anything better because they used the fly take. And I thought to myself, man, to be a literal fly on the wall for the best coffee cup acting of all time. That was my ride. My die is that Cash is not a likable character, and I think it's a big problem for the show.
It is a big problem for the show.
Because like, Dan, to your point from, I think, the hot take or whatever Brand called it, like it's ultimately I think he's supposed to be our main protagonist. It would be him or Missy, obviously. And Missy is fine, but Cash is just not likable. And he's peculiar. And it's the show wouldn't be good if Cash was likable, but the show would be better if Cash was likable. And I think there within lies the biggest source for all of our death is that Cash is not likable.
Yeah.
I don't think that this deal's happening. I don't think he's going to invest.
No.
And here's why I don't think he's going to invest.
It's because it's one of the worst business.
They do the rodeo. He sees that Isabel's scared. That gives him enough reason to then say, show me the numbers. They walk off. Within a minute or two, she is in the barn yelling at Cash, which means either she's already showed him the numbers and it only took 2 minutes, or she just said, you got it from here, and this didn't show up to the numbers meeting. Either way, it's not good. It's not good. I don't think that deal's happening. And I think that everybody's...
That's all, folks.
That's it. Dan?
I am dying slowly.
Is that it? Is that your ride or die?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay, fair enough. We did, everybody. Congratulations. Another one down.
Yeah.
Only 4 more to go?
Yeah.
Are there any breaks, or is it straight through?
I don't know.
It's straight through to Memorial Day.
Straight through the Memorial Day.
The troops.
There you go. We did, everybody. Congratulations. We're going to be back next time on another one. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmarks of Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.